Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey everyone, it's a new year, but we're still here, we're still doing our thing. So many of you have probably made the resolution saying that you want to change careers, make more money. So this episode is definitely going to be for you. I'm actually really excited for the guest that I've got on this week. Her name is Simi. She's amazing. She's also a career coach and she helps women in the corporate world, and she's been doing it since 2016. And she helps women secure jobs that they want and secure between 10 and 40K salary increases. And she helps them move to more senior roles and become leaders in their industry. Now, you guys know money is one of my favorite subjects. I do not shy away from it. I like talking about it because it is always a good thing when women have more money in their pockets, more freedom and more control. So Simi is definitely a woman after my own heart. She will help you get to the money and become the leader that you've always wanted to be. So guys, I've got Simi here and I'm going to let her introduce herself, tell you all about what she does, who she is. Yeah, and we're going to dive straight into this episode. Let's go, guys. Simi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Adele. I am so happy to be here to speak to you, to speak to your listeners. Really excited to be here. So a little bit about me. You've said most of it all. I'm going to kind of just share why I do what I do, because I think context always helps. I am of the belief that people should feel well paid and fulfilled in their career. When I first started my career, when you come from a background where it's just like, get a good job, make sure you work in a good company, it's very, very easy to have one or the other. You feel well paid at work, but you're burnt out and exhausted. Or you're fulfilled at work, but you're not paid enough. And I want more Black women to know that they can have both. They can be well paid and fulfilled, and that they can move to jobs and new spaces that support the new season of their life or help them grow in their current season. So I'm really all about that, specifically about helping women increase their earning potential. Because to be honest, I think a lot of times we are capped and limited with how much we think we can be earning when we have really valuable skills that companies will want to pay lots and lots and lots for. So that's part of what I do. I run a coaching program called Search is Secure that helps women do this, achieve higher paying roles. And I'm really happy to be talking to you today about the job market and how people can navigate that moving forward.
Oh, thank you so much. And so happy to have you here. And guys, I just realized I didn't say what the episode was about. It is about making more money even during a recession. So you should have said that right at the top, guys. You know what I'm like? Sometimes I forget. But yes, me and Simi are going to be talking about how you can make more money even during a recession. And I think this topic is so important, especially with everything that's going on in the UK and across the world with just like the cost of living. You guys know how much it is to just go and get a food shop. We've just had Christmas. I'm sure everyone spent all the money. And now we're in January and we're probably in that place where between now and the end of the month, all of us are kind of like, where did all my money go? How am I going to make it till January 31st? So I think this episode is at the right time. I think Simi is the exact right person to speak on it. So yeah, let's get into it. So Simi, what I wanted to start with asking you, what's one of the main differences you've noticed in the current job market?
So one thing I've noticed in the current job market that it's so important that anyone that has a 9 to 5 should know now is that the times where you needed to have worked in one industry all your life, or you required to be working in one industry all your life, those times are gone. People are switching industries. You no longer have the barrier of needing certain qualifications, degrees, or certifications to move jobs. One thing that I'm really noticing now with my clients, with what I'm hearing, just my expertise being a career coach, is that there is the immense capability, especially during times like this, a recession, money isn't flowing as much, some companies aren't as profitable. Switching industries is definitely one of the greatest ways to leverage and get a salary increase. And it doesn't always have to be you changing roles. It could be you doing the same thing, different industry, or you're doing a complete career pivot, you're changing roles and you're changing industries as well. So literally leveraging or realizing that you can increase your salary regardless of your industry is just such a key difference that's literally very evident at this time.
I totally agree with that. I feel like in this current job market, companies, as long as you present your experience and your skills and your expertise and your characteristics in the right way, companies are definitely looking at talent outside of their normal industry, outside of the normal pool of staff. So I totally agree with you there. I've also noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed this as well, it's starting to become client-led market again.
Yeah.
Meaning, yeah, like meaning that clients have more options. Before, I feel like it was a candidate-led market where not many people were moving because we just had like, everything that happened in 2020 and 2021
Mhm.
and the world would kind of stop. And then I feel like candidates had all the power
Yeah.
and jobs were like, we'll give you remote, we'll give you hybrid, we'll give you whatever you want, just come to work because people weren't moving. I think now what's happened is lots of people are starting to move, but also companies, like you said, making less money. So a lot of them aren't hiring as much people. So we're in a situation where standing out is really important. And I think along with a great CV and a great cover letter, networking is going to be really important this year. What do you think?
I agree 100%. To be honest,
Mhm.
a lot of candidates don't realize the amount of potential they have to kind of make their own decisions and create their own options. Definitely
Yes.
learning how to brand yourself will help, but also because this is in January when we're listening to this,
Mhm.
January is also a great time to leverage a job search or a job move because the budgets have just been set for the new year. So that there's
Yeah.
actually higher budget now, even though we're still in a recession, but there's still higher budget because it's the first hiring cycle of the year. We're in
Mhm.
Q1. So
Mhm.
definitely, even though we are in interesting times when it comes to the economy, there are also times where you want to leverage one, rebranding yourself and making your experience relevant, but also the
Mhm.
timing. There is more budget at certain times of the year, such as now. So you definitely
Mhm.
want to take advantage if you're thinking of changing careers this year.
I totally agree with that. Q1 and Q2, great month, like Q1 especially, best time because budgets, like you said, have just been set. People have got all this money, and usually people go crazy, and then they realize in Q4 they have to pull back. So this is the time to be looking. So, with that said, to me, do you think it is still safe to move roles during this kind of cost of living? Do you think, I know you've said that changing industry is good, do you think it's safe just in general? Because I know a lot of people listening will be thinking like, is it safe to move roles because companies are making less? What if I move role and then the company shuts down? Or just all these different things that might be going on in people's heads. Do you think it's safe to move during the cost of living and during a recession in general?
The thing is, there's no right answer to this question, and let me tell you why. In 2022, when there was this mass season of layoffs, even in 2023,
Hmm.
companies that had been known to be the safest companies of all times were doing layoffs. So people that
Hmm.
were clinging onto their role that they thought was a safe job suddenly became at risk. And companies that seemed to be new companies and not that stable didn't let go of any of their teams.
Hmm.
So it really depends on what your reality is. And I always feel that when you are trying to work on your career, you think about what's best for you. And sometimes you have to not put the company's priorities as and make them your priorities as well. So let me
Hmm.
give you context on what I mean. So when you want to look for a new job and you're thinking about where you are in your season of life, if you are not earning what you're meant to be earning, that's standard. That's not going to change regardless of the economic climate. If anything, when the economy is down and things aren't going well, you should be trying to earn more. The same way in the stock market, when you don't just start selling when things go bad, you actually start buying because
Hmm.
you want to leverage the fact that chips are down. This is the best
Hmm.
time to actually reap the rewards. So you want to treat the job market like the stock market. All because the economy is down does not mean you should, unless if you like your job and it's working for you, that's fantastic. Well, if it's not, you should definitely leverage that because companies definitely want to incentivize the best talents to join them, especially when they know that not that many of their competitors are hiring. So you really want to leverage that opportunity if you know in your hearts of hearts that this job I'm in is not allowing me to grow, it's not paying me what I want, it's not making me feel safe, seen, and heard, you definitely want to at least start considering your job move. It doesn't mean you have to start moving, but start considering your options.
Mm. Yeah, no, I'd such a good answer. That is like that resonates with me so much, and it's such a good answer. There is no safe jobs. And if 2020 and everything that's happened hasn't taught people that, there is no such thing as safety in any role, just like you said, whether the company's well established or it's brand new. I remember the very first recession in like, well, first recession I've lived through in like early 2000s. And that was when I made one of my biggest career changes, and I got a crap load of money. And everyone was like, you can't move during a recession. But I did, and I got a really good pay rise. So it is just your own perspective. Whatever your beliefs are what you're going to project and what you're gonna see in your world. So I think that's so important. Like everything you said about just not believing that just because a company's been around for years or any of that, it means it's safe. Just because you've been somewhere for years. So many people recently have been made redundant. Me being one of them. I got made redundant in 2022 and was able to then move into a new part-time role in this year. Well, now we're in 2024 when you guys are listening to this. But in 2023, I was able to move into a new role. And that even people would have said, well, did you take a pay cut? Any of the? No, absolutely not. Even during the cost of living, like I refuse because I've decided what I am worth and I won't sell my talents short. And I think I like that you said that women, especially, we need to remember like what we do has a price tag. Stop lowering the price tag because let's think about it. Even during cost of living, Prada has not put their prices down. Gucci has not put their prices down.
Exactly.
People are still
Exactly.
buying and
People
spending
are still buying them.
money.
And we need to
Right.
treat our valuable skills and transferable
Mhm.
skills with the same respect, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Put some respect on your own skills and your own talents. That's so important. So I speak to a lot of women, and I know you do as well, because it's what we do. And they feel like, especially during a recession, you can't negotiate more money. They don't think it's possible. But what are your thoughts on that?
I disagree. It is very possible to negotiate. So let me just, I think, just to give context, I like to share this stat because I want women to know what's actually happening right now. So
Mhm,
LSE, so London School of Economics, they recently did a study and they noticed that, okay, the top 5% of earners in the UK earn over 80K a year. And they did a study on who makes up those top 5% that are earning 80K a year.
mhm.
And they figured that in every thousand of people that were earning 80K a year, there was only one black woman. So that means there's a 0.1% chance of a black woman to be earning over 80K a year. That's very
Wow.
shocking.
Hmm.
When you think about things like that, it all comes down to the opportunities and the exposure we have to understanding what our market rate is. So when you actually interview for a job and you get the job, the recruiter is 100% of the time expecting you to ask questions, want to understand the offer, and to negotiate. When you don't do this, it's actually a bigger red flag than you think because it's like, oh, should we even be rushing to hire her anyway? Not only that, because they have already valued your skills, they've said at the interview they want to hire you, they're expecting you to want to meet them halfway. And I think another thing about negotiation is I think negotiation in Black, African, Caribbean culture sometimes can be given a bad rep. It's made to feel as if negotiation is being greedy or it's
Yes.
being like selfish. And it's not. Negotiation is mutual benefit. It's you saying, hey, company, I'm going to provide you this value. This is the value I'm expecting in return. So it's an equally beneficial relationship. It's not like you being aggressive or demanding. Let's not even go into like the stereotypes of being an angry black woman because I have so much to say about that. But I really feel women need to be empowered during that negotiation process. And you need the tools to understand what your options are, how to do it. Like this is something I even work through clients with because so many times there are so many clients that get the job and they're like, Simi, I just want to take it. Like I can't be bothered. And I'm like, let's have the conversation because you wouldn't want to start a job and figure out that all your colleagues are earning much more than you. You really wouldn't want to be in that situation. And
Hmm.
negotiation and even moving jobs in the first place is the best opportunity you have to increase your salary. So I disagree. Really and truly, regardless of the climate, you need to be negotiating because the recruiters and the company is expecting you to.
Love it. I love the passion in your voice as well. When you were talking about that, you were so passionate. You were like, listen, you guys need to negotiate. And I totally agree. I love that you said that it is a red flag when you just accept the offer. Because I agree. It is like, listen, if you just accept the offer as it is, or when as women we say, oh, I don't mind if you pay me between this and this. What do you mean you don't mind? Yes, you do mind. Like that is a red flag to a company because immediately they're like, wait, are you as good as as we think you are? Because you didn't even ask for that much money. Like I've been a recruiter and I've been a hiring manager. I've worked in over 15 years. I've been in the recruitment, human resources space, hiring space. And it's a red flag when it's like, oh, wait, they didn't ask for more money. The person who sits in that room and says, do you know what? This is what I'm worth and this is how much I want. And when the company's like, oh, we don't know if we can meet you there. And that person says, well, this is what I'm worth. And they stand on 10 toes down. That person is always impressive because the company's like, wait, why do they think they deserve that much? Maybe they must be amazing at what they do. Now we want them. So actually, when we don't negotiate, it is looked at in a strange way. Like even when I negotiated my current role, when they said yes really quickly, I was like, wait, maybe I should have asked for even more because they said yes really quickly, which meant, firstly, they had a bigger budget. I was negotiating above what they were offering and they said yes immediately. That lets me know the budget was more. Also, that maybe I sold myself short. And I'm saying this as a career coach because even though I did negotiate, the way they said yes so quickly, and don't get me wrong, guys, I know I'm good at what I do, but the way they said yes so quickly, I was like, maybe I should have asked for more. It works the other way around too. When you don't negotiate, they're thinking, maybe you're not as good as we thought you were. Or even an interview, when they tell you an amount and you're like, oh yeah, that's fine. Maybe then you're not getting the offer over the other person who was like, well, actually, I was looking for a little bit more because now that person, they're intrigued. And once a company is intrigued, that is all you need. You just need a company to be like, wait, why you? Why do you think you're worth that much? When a company is intrigued, it makes all the difference.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that yeah, I just love that you said that. And the passion behind everything you said, I know your clients, when you're talking to them, you're letting them know, listen, we're not here to get peanuts. We're not here for a slice of the cake. We're here for the whole thing. And I think that's so important for us as women, as Black women, just it's so important for us. So with that said, so we've talked about changing role, changing industries, even staying in the same role and changing industries. We've talked about totally changing industries and being able to negotiate more. Do you think during a cost of living or during a recession that someone can negotiate a big pay rise where they are? So that you've got someone who loves their job, they like what they do, but the only thing that's bothering them is they're not being paid enough. Do you think they can negotiate a big pay rise at an existing job?
Great question. So the answer is it depends. And I'm not trying to be
Okay.
politically correct here, but it's not impossible, but it really truly depends on your circumstances. Or if the
Mhm,
company had like a good year, if you have maybe a certain bonus or commission structure, there's so many
mhm,
it depends factors. And that's
mhm,
why the answer I'm giving is it depends. So the honest truth about how the corporate world works is this. When companies employ someone, so it's their first time hiring them, most time there's like
mhm,
a need. So for there to actually even be a hiring budget, the hiring manager needs to have written justification of why a role is needed in a certain organization. So when they're setting the budgets, there's essentially a lot more of the budget allocated to hiring than to be honest, employee retention.
mhm,
So it means the pool of money available when someone is moving to a new job is much more like a wider pool than when it comes to getting a promotion or being given some sort of incentive at the company. So when people come to me and ask me and say, Simi, I have a really, really good role. I really love my role. However, I'm not being paid what I want. I always tell them that you might not want to have a new job, but what you might want is to be informed of what the possibilities of your earning
mhm,
potential are. Because
mhm,
if you don't know that, you always continue to stay in a state of feeling like, what if?
mhm,
Feeling like your financial goals can't be met. And the truth about it is, when you have a 9 to 5, when you have a career, your skills are valuable. You're actually a service provider, and your company
mhm,
is your client. You are doing them a favor by offering your skills to them. So when you
mhm,
are not paid what you're happy with, that means the job is not making you happy, period. Because what a company pays you in response to the skills you're offering them shows how happy they are with the value you are. So you really want to ensure that even if you like your job, you still have an understanding of what your earning potential is. And this is how you can actually go about that. If you like your role and you want to see yourself growing, and you have other colleagues or you network with people in the industry, simply ask them this question. You don't have to ask them what they earn, but you can ask them, oh, for someone with this level of experience, like describing yourself, how much should I be earning or what should I be going for when it comes to roles like this? And the person will tell you honestly because there's nothing to hide. They're not going to tell you honestly about based on maybe what they know or what their company pays. And that way you're able to get more intel on how much you could be earning potentially. And then you can use that information to make a decision. Okay, am I going to use this information to ask my management, my leadership, if this kind of pay rise is possible? Am I going to use this information to find another job? But information is power, knowledge is power. Once you have that information, you no longer be asking, can I negotiate a pay rise at my company? Because you know what the answer is, because you know what the knowledge is, you know what the salary expectations are with someone with your level of work experience. So the answer is it depends, but I would definitely encourage you, if you like your role, to do that research for your future self so you understand what your potential is.
Such a good way of putting it, actually, that researching, finding out, because if you are underpaid, it doesn't matter how much you love your job, eventually you will resent it because you will feel like you're giving so much more than you're getting in return. And I love the way that you said that when we're working, we're a service provider and our company is our client. Because that is so true. Our company is our client. Like it's like having a mini business, but I think until we start to get into that mindset and in that mind frame, we don't realize what our potential is. I'm someone who definitely believes that you can get a pay rise at your existing job. You may not be able to get as big a pay rise at your existing job as you would somewhere else. So I
Yeah.
love the fact that Simi has said you need to do your research because that is so important. You need to know what the market value currently is, and then you need to add a little bit of tax based on your own skills, based on your own talents, based on your own transferable skills, all of that. You need to add a little bit more, but you need to do your research because it is so important. And one thing I will say for anyone who's in an existing job who doesn't want to leave, but wants to get paid more, anyone who has followed me for a while on Instagram knows that like at the end of 2021, I can't even remember years at this point, but I got a 15K pay rise to do the same job for the same amount of hours in the same company. The reason why was because I did exactly what Simi just spoke about. I did my research. I looked at it in the market and I was like, wait, you're at least 10K underpaid right now. How did this happen? But that was because the market had shot up and I hadn't looked at my own salary for a couple of years. Also, I branded myself within my job. And I think this is really important. If you are looking for a pay rise in your current job, branding is really important. And what I mean by that is you will often hear people say go above and beyond, but they don't explain it properly. And then you will be the person who does all the things and gets nothing in return. But going above and beyond in the corporate world actually means being able to do more areas than just your job. I am great at my job, but I can also support in other areas if needs be, even areas that I don't enjoy. Like I used to support in payroll and finance. I do not enjoy payroll and finance, guys. I hate it. But I used to run payroll and I used to pay all the stuff because I could do that. That was not a part of my role. But because I was able to put on different hats and sit in different departments and help with different things, it meant that I am now a bigger asset to the company. So actually to lose me, it would cost you more to hire someone new, to advertise, to hire someone new, to train someone new, and then they'll only be able to do my exact job. They might not wear as many hats as I do. So my branding meant that when I went to my boss and I was like, I want 15K more, if she thought about it, to hire someone else is going to cost triple that because you're going to have to pay them a full salary. And to replace me, you're going to have to spend time interviewing. You're going to have to spend time putting on job adverts. This is all costing money, guys. You could just pay me the extra. I'll do the work and you know what I'm bringing to the table. And I think sometimes we forget that our current companies know everything that we've got to offer. They see what we've brought to the table. If you have branded yourself correctly, you will be able to say to them, well, if you want to lose the talent, that's fine. But it's only going to take you an extra 10K to keep me. So where are we? What do we want to do? Do you want to interview and find someone else and hope that that person's going to be good and hope that person stays? Or give me the extra 10K to keep doing a great job and to continue to do a great job? It's all about how you leverage things, guys. And I think that is really important. But I don't think you can always get a massive pay rise in an existing job, especially if you've not necessarily branded yourself in the right way. And if you're not asking the right questions or understanding your market value, but also your value within your current company at this point in time.
You said it all. That's fantastic. And I always,
Mm,
always, always say this. You are the CEO of your career.
mm,
Career itself, you need to treat it like a company. You need to do marketing. which is what you've just described.
Mm.
That's branding.
Yes.
You need to
Hmm.
market yourself. You need to do your due diligence, have your legal department to do your research, understand what you should be expecting and what you should not be expecting. Treat your career like a business. It makes all the difference. No company, if they aren't obviously increasing their revenue year on year, no company operates like that. They want to increase their revenue year on year. They want to do better at their sales. They want to do better at their marketing. You need to start selling yourself and marketing yourself to be paid more at your current
Hmm.
job or if you want to move to a new job.
Absolutely. And what you just said is key. Companies, if they're not making a profit, they're not going to throw money at you. But if they are making a profit and you're contributing to that profit, why are you not asking for more? That is always my stance. If my company is making money year on year and I am contributing to that money, I'm going to ask for some of it back. And that's what I want women to start thinking about. When a company isn't making money, it is very different. And like Simi said, you need to think about how you position yourself because you might need to go and look at in the market and not stay where you are. But when your company is making a crap load of money through the recession, they're still making like profit on top of profit on top of profit. And I think a lot of women, we don't research, is our company making money or not? We don't ask the question, like, we're just at work doing our job, but we're not paying attention. Like, has your company increased in revenue? If you're in the corporate world, has their price in the stock market gone up? Like, are you paying attention to these small, subtle things that can show you where your company is money wise and what you can be asking for? So I really like what Simi said there. Like, you're the CEO and you get to decide. So, Simi, what I want to ask you as well, and I know I've had you here for a while, but I've got a couple more questions. Is there anything different someone should be doing now when it comes to getting paid more to what maybe they might have been doing a year ago or 2 years ago? Is there anything different?
Two things that have really changed the game are this. First is
Hmm.
LinkedIn. Second is
Mm.
transferable skills. So let's get into LinkedIn. LinkedIn is slept on. LinkedIn hit 1 billion users in 2023. So that's last year. And LinkedIn is more than a social media or professional networking site. I like to say that LinkedIn is your personal referral. It's more than your online resume. It's your personal referral. And I like to say it this way because I have so many clients that get jobs without applying, higher paying jobs without applying because of how optimized their LinkedIn profile is. LinkedIn is such a source of credibility for you as a professional. And if your LinkedIn isn't in a state where it shows how valuable you can be to a company, whether or not you're looking to move jobs or not, it can really, really help you get opportunities. And I really want more women to do that. I think a lot of people have caution around maybe sharing their story on LinkedIn, but I'm not even talking about posting content. I'm talking about your profile in itself.
Mm.
Because a lot of people think that to get a higher paying role, they need to get a referral. But you can't refer someone that has a bad LinkedIn profile. Because if you refer the person, the hiring manager, the recruiter looks the person up and their profile is outdated, doesn't show their value, they're either not going to get to the interview, or when they get to the interview, someone that's branded themselves better is just going to take the lead and they're going to be dropped out of the interview process. So honestly, LinkedIn is such a powerful thing that I want more women to take advantage of because it can really, really transform your career.
Definitely. LinkedIn is such a big deal. And I love that you talked about it and talked about optimizing the LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where it's at. I tell my clients this all the time. Go to LinkedIn, make your profile stand out. And sometimes that means people will start reaching out to you. You don't have to be always posting content, but LinkedIn is definitely slept on, like you said.
It is. And the only other thing I want to say about it is when it comes to LinkedIn as well, I think people don't realize that there are different forms of LinkedIn. The LinkedIn
Mm.
you see is one version of LinkedIn, but think about it. LinkedIn is actually a hiring solutions company as well. So they have things, obviously, you've seen LinkedIn jobs, there's a jobs tab. They also have something called LinkedIn Recruiter, which
Mm-hmm.
means recruiters, obviously, they pay for this service, but they have an opportunity to find ideal candidates based on the certain keywords, certain skills, certain companies, certain industries. People, your LinkedIn profile needs almost to be like a website, like SEO optimized, because people can find you. You can get amazing opportunities from LinkedIn. It doesn't even have to only be a job. Sometimes it can be speaking engagements that fade. Sometimes it can be a collaboration. There's so many amazing things in your career you can achieve from the platform. So I always encourage people to use it. So I just wanted to add that side that LinkedIn
Hmm.
is not more than what you see as just a regular user. There are also other forms of LinkedIn where they're leveraging. I know sometimes thinking about how data is used can be scary, but you really want to ensure that if you are at that stage of your career where you're looking to up level either in new opportunities, new job, higher salary, even more visibility within your company, you really want to just be using your LinkedIn. So the second one is, first one is LinkedIn, about what you should be doing differently. But the second one
Hmm.
is transferable skills. So
Mm.
when I say transferable skills, sometimes it can seem like a really big buzzword. So I want to break it down. So when it comes to transferable skills, I think what people don't realize is apart from the technologies and the maybe certain things you learned in certain trainings, you actually have things called soft skills, which can allow you to be very, very desirable for certain roles. Think of leadership, think of communication, think of problem solving. So many people have transferable skills that could open them up to new roles that could pay them significantly more. Think 10K more, 20K more, 30K more, 40K more. I literally had a client that had a 50K salary increase by changing
Mm.
roles and doing something. I mean, it's the same family of roles, but something she never thought she could do in the marketing space. And I really want to encourage women that you can move to tech. I have clients that have moved to tech with no tech experience, no tech background, and they've moved to technical roles using their transferable skills. They have moved to project management, program management, management, like people management roles, senior leadership roles. So people can really leverage their transferable skills to move to higher paying roles. It's not just about the certifications or degrees you've had, it's about your brand using LinkedIn and also about leveraging your transferable skills, highlighting that in your applications, in your interviews. That's where it's at. So those are different things that are happening right now. And I want people to kind of be more aware of that.
So important. I love the way you broke down transferable skills because I think, like you said, it's a buzzword, and sometimes people don't really understand what is meant by transferable skills. But those soft skills, they can take you to a whole new level. And congratulations to your client with the 50K pay rise, because the fact that your client moved industry and still made that pay rise, people don't understand how much leveraging those soft skills can make a difference.
For sure, for sure. It's honestly so important. And I think what I'm glad is I think we've moved away from a lot of people feeling like they need to go into debt, into doing
Mm.
lots of things that they don't really want to do, going to
Hmm.
get degrees they don't care about, certifications they don't care about, working for free at companies because they
Mm.
want to get a
Okay.
certain level of experience before they can move into an industry. So I'm really so glad that season is over and Black women can move forward with careers they want, get started on their own terms, and just be happy. So yeah, honestly, yeah, you can have a stress-free job search by doing some of these things.
Absolutely. And I say to people all the time, sometimes it sounds like a lot of work. It's like, oh, I just want to send my CV and get the job. And that's fine if you just want any old job with any old salary. But if you want the job you enjoy, if you want to change industry, if you want to make serious money, then yes, you might have to do a little bit more work at the beginning. But long term, it's going to be the thing that makes everything easy. It's going to be the thing that, like for me, I've changed industry twice. It's because all the work I did at the beginning, long term, it helps. Talking about my transferable skills, understanding my soft skills, like understanding how to brand myself. Long term, yes, it feels like, oh, you're making the job search harder. But the days of just sending a CV and getting the great, amazing job, those days are done. There's a lot more to it. The start, but it's actually not as much work as you think. If you have a great LinkedIn profile, you understand how to market your transferable skills, I feel like you can go really far. So what I want to ask Simi as my last question I want to ask you is what three steps would you give someone right now for them to be able to get paid more in the current job market and during this sort of time of recession, cost of living, whatever you want to call it? What three things would you say to someone if they're trying to get paid more?
That's a great question. And everyone listening will be so happy to know that I'm actually not going to mention anything about applying to jobs. So I think people rush into applying to jobs without clarity. If you
Mm-hmm.
apply to jobs without knowing what you want, you're either going to be rejected for jobs or get a job that you have no business being in. I'm actually not going to say anything about applications. I'm going to move way before that. And the three steps you should be taking before you even touch a single application. So the first thing, and I hinted at this before, is salary research. So this is not about just going on Glassdoor, because there's some people that share their salary on Glassdoor, but they actually underpaid themselves. So if you put your expectations on that, you'll be underpaid at your new role. But what I want you to do is, same technique I mentioned earlier, speaking to people in your industry to understand what someone of your level of experience should earn. Obviously, not relying solely on that, but also trying to optimize for roles that give you a 10K to 40K salary increase. I believe that's the sweet spot over the years that I've been a career coach. 10K to 40K is the sweet spot you should be aiming for with a job move. So that's the first thing, salary reset. The second thing is understanding your achievements in your career. So a lot of times, people, when they apply to jobs, they kind of apply for the job they have, but they don't apply for the job they want. And the reason why this happens is because they don't know what industry specific language is. Industry specific language is the terminology in which an industry describes success. So when I say this, I mean that there are different companies, depending on what success looks like to them, they would measure things in different ways. For example, if you work in sales, and the whole point of maybe the way you work in sales is about bringing revenue to the company. In a sales organization, they might measure it in revenue, but in a tech company, they might measure it in cloud spend. So although they are both sales, it's different language that they're using to describe the sales. So when you want to actually go on a job search, you need to know, based on the achievements I've had in my career, how can I translate this so it's applicable to many industries? Because if you don't know how to translate it, you get to interviews or you apply to jobs that you even feel like you're overqualified for, and you wouldn't get the job you want because you don't know what the priorities of the industry is. You don't know what the industry specific language is. So it means your applications, your interviews, your negotiations fall flat, right? So that's the second one. So I've said salary research, and the second one is industry specific language for your achievements. And then the last one is something that's more of a thought rather than a doing thing. It's thinking about your lifestyle and the life you want for yourself. Because as I said, it's not just about being well paid, it's also about being fulfilled. So think about how you want to be in the future. Do you want to start a family? Do you want to work for a company that allows you to be flexible, work remotely, work in a country, maybe a different country? You don't have to kind of stay in the same country you're in. Do you want to have a company that's going to allow you to do maybe retire early? Maybe you have some financial goals. You want to save, spend, and invest. Maybe you want to get on the property ladder, or maybe you want to build a property portfolio. You want to become a landlord. You want to think about companies that are going to give you the life you want, because your career is meant to serve you. You're not meant to serve your career or your company or your employer. Your employer is meant to actually add some benefit to your life as well. So when we're thinking about career, also think about where future you wants to be, and ensure that you are moving to a company that has the culture, that has the support to allow you to be who you want to be as well. So said lots, but salary research, industry specific language for your achievements, and finally, thinking about your lifestyle and future you.
Oh, thank you so much for those answers. I know for a fact they're going to help people. And I especially like that they were all things that you should be doing before the job search. I think we don't talk about that enough. I think people don't understand that sometimes the work before the job search is what makes the job search become so successful.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. I've really loved having you. I definitely could talk to you more and ask more questions. And I feel like I know my listeners are probably like, oh, Adele, we've got all these questions. So anyone who is listening, if you do have questions, remember you can drop them in the question box underneath the show notes. So I know you can do that on Spotify and on Apple, you can actually ask questions and I'll see them. I'll be able to share them with Simi. So we'll be able to answer them. Also, I'm going to let Simi let all of my listeners know where you can find her. So, Simi, where can everyone find you?
Thank you so much, Adele. It's been a pleasure to be here. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I am Simi Awokoya, and I'm also on Instagram at Coach Simi. I'm sure Adele will leave this in the show notes. And finally, I have a free weekly email series. I share free career advice for Black women who want to have higher paying and more fulfilling roles. And you can connect with me there at coach-simi.com/email. So weekly emails from me, just helping Black women be the best they can be in their career.
Listen, guys, if you are not following Simi, I need you to run, not walk, and go and follow her on all the platforms that she's on. I will have everything in the show notes. So if you scroll down, have a read, you'll be able to literally click the link and go ahead and connect with Simi on LinkedIn, follow her, connect with her, speak to her, learn from her. She is a woman who knows her stuff. It's clear. If you haven't realized just by listening to this, she knows her stuff. Go back and listen as well to anything that you missed, any answers that you feel you haven't got. But reach out to Simi if you need help with your career. Definitely reach out to Simi if you want to make some more money and you're scared that during the recession that's not going to happen, because she is the woman that's going to be able to help you. I've been connected with Simi on LinkedIn for a really long time and also on Instagram. And her LinkedIn is popping. Like, I'm always commenting on her posts. Like, she's always triggering something in me. I'm like, yes, Simi, yeah. Like, I'm always like, it's always a vibe. Like, I'm always even like, yeah, tell them. Like, I need to comment on this. Or I'm like, I totally agree. Like, I sometimes feel like she's in my brain and she's just like saying the things that I want to say or haven't said yet. Like, she's so forward thinking and she just brings so much to the career space, which I think is such an important thing. She brings such a clear perspective. And because it is in the corporate world as well and leadership, and it's about talent, and it's so much more than just women getting a new job. It is women getting a fulfilling job, women moving into leadership, and women making the money that they deserve and the money that helps them live the lifestyle they want. So, like I said, run, don't walk. Simi, thank you so much for joining me. This has been such a great episode. I'm so excited for everyone else to hear it. So yeah, I really appreciate you spending your time with me this afternoon and sharing all your great wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me, Adele. It's been a pleasure.
Well, guys, that's it for us for this week. Simi's been a great guest. Join me next week for another new episode. Yeah, you guys know what to do if you're looking to change career right now. If that's a part of like your New Year's resolutions, or you've been thinking about it for a while, but you just haven't made the move, you know where to find me. Coach Adele T on Instagram, or follow me on LinkedIn because I'm super active on there. It's just Adele Thompson, just my regular name. So come over there, reach out. If you are looking for a change, you know that Create Your Own Lane, doors are opening this month for new people who want to change career and make a lot more money. Anyway, guys, I will see you on the next, or I will speak to you, should I say, on the next episode. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.